Her name is Emily Higgins, but she goes by Duck. She is known for her love of softball and coaching the youth in Soddy Daisy. Her story begins about a year ago after a head-on collision that pinned her inside a car. She says officials had to use the jaws of life to free her. During that time, Duck coded twice. It was a moment her mother says no parent should experience.
I mean, they just looked at me and her daddy and just said, all right, you're going to have to say your goodbyes.
That was the beginning of Duck's recovery. From there, she would spend nearly 2 months in the hospital unresponsive. A blur for her, but she says during her near-death experience, one memory remains crystal clear.
And I stand up and I look, and all I see is a line of trees, and there's people dressed in white standing at the base of them. And over the line of trees, you see just this beautiful white light.
Her 2 grandfathers, who had already passed on, helping her in a time of need.
There's something pulling me to that light, like trying to grab my attention to walk over there. And he was like, no, you can't. And he kept grabbing me by my shirt.
He told her, get up, you have things to do. Shortly after, she says she woke up, able to move.
And I just see people standing over me and I'm strapped down. And I was like trying to get out. I was like, what's wrong with me? What are y'all doing to me? And I hear them. They're like, we got her back. We got her back.
Duck suffered 3 major brain bleeds, a shattered pelvis, and a list of other injuries. Her prognosis should have left her paralyzed.
Jesus had bigger plans for her.
Her journey to recovery was a long one, gaining the support and admiration from the community and Soddy Daisy. Now she attends Cleveland State, playing the sport she loves and teaching those she comes across a very important message.
Do not take a day for granted, because in a matter of seconds, you can lose everything.
Jeremiah Beatty with that inspirational story there from Duck, and showing that, yes, miracles do happen. Still to come here on Local 3 News at noon. When you think of Chick-fil-A, you often think of the workers who ensure you have an enjoyable experience. Well, an employee out of Florida is going viral after rescuing a mother and her baby who were being carjacked. Cedric will join me next for What's Trending. Welcome back to What's Trending. Chick-fil-A employees are known for their polite and professional service, along with their willingness to help. Well, in this case, that even extends to helping stop a carjacking.
Oh, you know what, Latrice? Now, let me tell you, it started when a man approached a woman who was getting her baby out of her car. You know, she was right near the Chick-fil-A. Now, she was carrying a stick, and he grabbed it from her and the keys from her.
Well, that's when the Chick-fil-A employee hopped into action. Michael Gordon ran over to the woman who was screaming. He was met by a very aggressive suspect. As you can see, they tussled as others then jumped in and ran over to help.
Now, fortunately, the Chick-fil-A worker was not seriously injured. But for the man who caused the incident, now he was charged with carjacking with a weapon and battery.
You know, and that's just great to think that someone would, of course, go out of their way and say, you know what, I've got to help. I can't stand by and see this happen and watch this happen to this woman and her baby there. So again, thank goodness and, you know, hats off to that employee who was willing to step up and to help, because it was a dangerous situation. Obviously, there, if someone is going to carjack someone, then you never know what all they have on them. So, but anyways, good to know that there was a happy ending. And so just, I guess, another reason to thank those employees there at Chick-fil-A.
And if there's any place where I think that would happen, it would be at Chick-fil-A. I mean, it is their pleasure to serve you, and they do it well. And you just, I mean, you're their best friend when you drive through the drive-through or go inside, whichever one. It's great.
That is one of the things you always you hear from them, and it's like you love that as you gave their line there.
Yeah.
Pleasure to serve you. So they do have obviously great service and employees there. All right. Well, this next story probably comes as no surprise. The Crown may soon reign supreme on Netflix. It jumped into the top 10 this week, Cedric.
Yeah, now, The Crown is a drama series, for those who may not know, that follows the story of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, the show is based on some of the real life and political and even personal events that kind of shaped her reign as queen.
Okay, Netflix says since the Queen's passing, the award-winning series has skyrocketed. And we were talking about this, Cedric, before. No surprise there. When it first came out, of course, everyone was talking about this. And I think you said you watched the first couple of seasons. I said I watched the first season and a half or so. And then, then another series came out that was similar to this that a lot of people started watching too. But I no surprise that with her death, that so many people now have starting to say, I'm interested in this again. And it's just re-sparked that interest in the Queen and in her life. And I think a lot of people will be tuning back into this.
That's true. Now, honestly, I will say, so I probably got most of my history about the Queen from this show. I'm not gonna lie. So there are a lot of things that I did not know, and that actually kind of drew me in. I kept watching because it was like it starts off with the young Queen, and she's and so you learn about all the personal and things that shaped to where she is today and how that all came together. It's kind of interesting to see that. So
it really was. I think that kind of was the most fascinating part. Were those early informative years of when she was so young, and she, and this was thrust upon her, and she became queen at such a young age, and then just kind of watch as it, kind of took off from there. So anyway, so lots of people watching The Crown now.
That's good stuff there. So I'm sure they will. I think they paused, shooting the new season right now, obviously in honor of the Queen, but they will pick that up, I believe, obviously. So still at least, another good season left.
Right, to watch it.
Yeah. So, hey, well, I'll tell you what. We can watch that in due time, but for today, I want you to get outside. Don't watch TV. Go outside, enjoy the beautiful, pleasant weather, the blue skies, the low humidity, because the humidity will be ramping up in the days to come. We'll talk more about that and talk about the tropics next, right here on Local 3 News at noon.
This is Local 3 News at noon.
A spike in violent crime across the country has leaders concerned, including our state and local leaders. Hear how they plan to take action. And the Chattanooga Area Food Bank is seeing the need for its services continue to increase. Why they are seeing numbers rise daily. Thank you for watching this half hour of Local 3 News at noon. It is Thursday, September 15th. I'm Latrice Curry. We begin with breaking news. A pedestrian was hit and killed on Hickson Pike. It happened just before 10 last night in the 1100 block. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office says their traffic unit is investigating what happened. We're working to learn the name of the person who died. A spike in violent crime across the country has leaders concerned, including those in our state and city. Just in Tennessee this month, a Memphis woman was kidnapped and murdered while out for a morning jog. Also in Memphis, a 19-year-old man is accused of killing and injuring several people in a shooting spree across the city. Tennessee's U.S. senators are among half a dozen senators addressing this spike in crime. Citing those recent high-profile murders in Memphis, Senators Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty, along with 4 other Republican senators, are introducing the Restore Law and Order Act. It will send more resources to state and local law enforcement agencies to help them fight violent crime. Senator Hagerty says he's sending a letter to President Biden.
The letter that we sent this week to President Biden encourages him, and we're ready to work with him, to step up, to address this problem, to use some of the tried and true principles that have already worked.
The senators say they will continue to come up with ways to reduce the escalating crime wave. Well, back here in Chattanooga, the city's new police chief is also concerned about the recent increase in violence. Since September 1st, Chief Murphy says there have been 12 reported shootings, 2 of which were homicides. The chief says this month's spike in shootings is unusual, but mentioned overall violent crime is down for the year, with a 47% decrease in reported shooting incidents. The police department's goals right now are to obtain warrants for the most violent offenders and prosecute them in collaboration with the DA's office. Chief Murphy says they started an initiative at the beginning of the summer to target gang-related crime and will continue to crack down on those individuals.
It's now time for us to just remind those that are the bad actors in Chattanooga. We're going to renew and let them know the same thing that they saw at the beginning of the summer. We're just letting them know now we're still about that business.
The Chattanooga Police Department is asking people, if you see something, say something. If you do have information regarding violent crimes, you are encouraged to call the police department. An officer-involved shooting killed a man last night in Grundy County. The TBI is investigating the shooting. Deputies responded to reports of a man pointing a pellet rifle at passing vehicles. When they arrived, they asked Joe Pickett to drop his weapon, but he pointed it at them. One of the deputies fired and shot Pickett. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Well, the city of Somerville has lifted their boil water advisory. This comes after flooding contaminated their water plant 2 weeks ago. They say all water samples tested negative for bacteria. City officials posted a special thanks for all the organizations that handed out water, clothes, and cleaning supplies over the last 2 weeks. Bottled water is still available if you need it there at City Hall. Let's turn to meteorologist Cedric Haynes now. And Cedric, another nice day. You were saying earlier at the end of the last half hour, great day to get outside, enjoy this nice weather and take advantage of it.
Yeah, whether you want to go fishing, or maybe this is a day that you want to grab the towel, or maybe a beach towel if you have one, or a regular towel will do maybe, and just go out and lay out in the front yard. Just do a little sunbathing.
There you go. Yes. Okay,
Yeah. Always a good pastime of mine. I love it. But I tell you what, the weather is going to be great. But the question is, Latrice, do you know what is responsible for all this great weather?
Oh my gosh, yes, our friend, the big blue H.
Listen, it just puts a smile on my face.
I
just to
am
hear you
paying
say
attention
it.
to you, Cedric.
I appreciate that.
I'm taking it in.
It
I'm
means
passing
so much.
the test.
It means so much, not only to me, but for our friend.
For all,
Yeah, our friend High Pressure, it means a lot too as well. So let's show you what's going on here, because that's the only thing on the map. Latrice, the big blue H, that high pressure, and again, that is responsible for giving us all of this nice weather. It's just kind of like a dome, basically, that just covers us and keeps us from seeing any weather moving in from the west or any weather moving in from the east or south. So that's why we're dealing with lots of clear skies, sunshine, and very pleasant conditions. Now, as we zoom into the Tennessee Valley, you can see, again, most of the area is dealing with lots of sunshine at this moment. Our friends over in the Blue Ridge, they'll seeing a couple of fair weather cumulus clouds developing, but again, not going to produce any rain or anything like that. We still have winds coming in out of the north, so that's giving us the pleasant numbers out there. 77 in Murphy, Athens, Dayton, 75 in Cleveland, 75 in Dalton, 77 in Lafayette and Scottsboro, 73 in Altamont, and 74 degrees here in Chattanooga. So the rest of today, again, lots of sunshine, a couple of those fair weather cumulus clouds from time to time, but high temperatures getting into the lower 80s. Some folks may get very close to the mid 80s out there this afternoon, but overall still very nice and comfortable with that low humidity, and that pattern should stick around as we go into the next couple of days. So this afternoon we'll go with about 83 in Dayton and Athens, 80 in Altamont, 81 in Blue Ridge, 82 Murphy, about 85 for the warm spot in Dalton, 84 degrees in Chattanooga and Cleveland, and about 82 degrees in Scottsboro. Now tonight we'll head down into the upper 50s to lower 60s, but again, this is going to be another clear, cool, comfortable night across the area, so no issues there, and the sunshine and nice weather sticks around for today, and then we're starting to talk about a warming trend, so we'll take a look at that, plus we'll take a look at a new tropical storm that's out there in the Atlantic Ocean in just a little bit. Latrice.
Thank you, Cedric. The City Council runoff election for District 8 is today. Local activist Marie Mott and incumbent Marvin Knoll will face off for the District 8 seat. In the primary, Mott won 47% of the vote, while Knoll had 29%, making a runoff necessary. The American Rescue Plan is indeed coming to the rescue for people in danger of losing their homes. $300 million in relief funds are available in Georgia alone. The Dalton-Whitfield Community Development Corporation is a housing agency that helps people apply to the Mortgage Assistance Program. Now, Reed Fincher is the director. He says financial hardships that come from COVID could be a wide range of issue. To qualify, you need to have documentation of the hardship.
Prove that you either lost income or had a significant expense due to the pandemic. You may be on the road to losing your home, and then you leave with hope.
He says the assistance can help to pay off existing mortgage bills, postpone payments owed to mortgage lenders, and other housing-related expenses. Now, the deadline for the program is September 2026, or when funds are all used up. President Biden's American Rescue Plan was signed into law last year, designed to fund vaccinations, provide immediate direct relief to families bearing the brunt of the COVID-19 crisis, and support struggling communities. Well, today marks the start of National Hispanic Heritage Month. It's observed each year starting September 15th and runs through October the 15th. National Hispanic Heritage Month celebrates the history, culture, and contributions of Americans whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. It started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week and expanded to 30 days and became law in 1988. After the break on Local 3 News, the Chattanooga Area Food Bank is seeing the needs for its services continue to rise. The Chattanooga Area Food Bank is seeing the need for its services continue to rise. 2 years ago, the need was around 1,500 families or individuals per month, or 100 per day. Now that need has doubled with 3,000 families or individuals per day, or about 200 per month. Now, Anna Baker with Chattanooga Area Food Bank says a number of factors play into this rise, like inflation, pandemic benefits, ending, also higher fuel prices. But what she needs is more volunteers.
Since there's more need for food, there's more need for volunteers to help us get that food ready for the people who need it.
She says right now the food bank is working to help schools support students with this increased need and taking things day by day. She encourages anyone to volunteer with the food bank to help fill this need. Tyner Academy students attended their Future Ready kickoff yesterday. This is an event that helps get students familiar with the opportunities available after high school. There were representatives from UTC, EPB, as well as first responders. Tyner Academy's principal, Dr. Lindsay Irvin, says it is a great way to give students hands-on experience.
Our students can leave as a medical tech, a medical assistant. They can also earn their certificate to be an ed assistant, educational assistant.
All students at Tyner Academy have the opportunity to study in a Future Ready program to prepare them for a successful career. Well, Eastlake Academy students are also getting a jump on preparing their future careers. Well, the middle school students participated in a career expo yesterday. There were vendors on hand from several different companies and careers, including Local 3 News. I enjoyed talking to all the students and meeting the staff there. The students made their way throughout the gym, asking a lot of questions about the different career choices.
Well, of course, we're dealing with some decent weather out there across the area, but we're also tracking the tropics. We'll have an update for you on that coming up next, right here on Local 3 News at noon.
We want you to be a part of the Local 3 team. Come grow your career as a marketing specialist, helping local businesses and our local community thrive. To apply, email your resume to Greg Acuff at gacuff@local3news.com.
Taking a live look outside, a really nice Thursday afternoon as this just pleasant weather continues. Let's get to meteorologist Cedric Haynes here in the studio. Cedric, so quiet, nice around here, but there's storm brewing out there in the tropics.
That's right, Latrice. Of course, we have this new tropical storm. The name is Fiona. Yeah, that's a name. It sounds familiar, right? I'll tell you what, Fiona, you can almost sing about Fiona, right? But I'll tell you what, as we look out here in the Atlantic Ocean here, everything has been quiet. It's been a very quiet tropical season despite having several named storms, but this is really the first one that's starting to get a little more attention or a little more organized here. It's still well to the east of the Leeward Islands, so it's not going to even impact them until about Friday night or so at the earliest. Now, when you first look at this on the satellite picture, it looks very impressive. It looks like it's strengthening very quickly. But the problem is this is a very lopsided storm, which means that all of the storm activity is on the east side of this system here. So on the west side, the center of the storm is actually right about here. And you can see on the west side of the storm, there's absolutely nothing. So that's what we call wind shear. And that will keep Fiona at bay for the most part. So it's not going to allow it to strengthen a ton in the near term. So that's the good news. So as we watch this thing, the wind's right now at 50 miles per hour. It's going to continue to trek off towards the west here. So notice by Friday into Saturday, that's when it will make its approach across the northern Leeward Islands there. As a tropical storm, winds may get up to about 60 miles per hour. And then notice here as we get towards, let's say, Monday into Tuesday, it starts to make a little turn to the north as there's going to be some strong winds coming out of the west that's going to help pick this system up and start to turn it to the north. But you can see with that, it could make its way over portions of Puerto Rico with some tropical storm conditions on Sunday. And then Monday, it'll make its way towards Hispaniola. We call this the Shredder Island because there's a lot of high mountains there and it tends to rip apart tropical systems. So we'll see if it actually survives and strengthens as it makes a turn towards the Bahamas there as we get towards your Monday into Tuesday. Some guidance says that it may strengthen, some others say it may fall apart. So we'll see how that plays out. 57 this morning in Scottsboro, 55 in Altamont, 50 in Murphy, dropped down to 59 in Dalton, Athens, and Dayton, and 63 was the overnight low temperature in Chattanooga. As we take a look outside, lots of beautiful blue sky out there across the area. Temperature 74 degrees, heat index 73. So yeah, humidity still in check today. Everyone kind of hanging out in the 70s here at the lunchtime hour. And as we look at the satellite picture, you can see a couple of fair weather cumulus clouds trying to get going towards the Blue Ridge. But overall, lots of sunshine today. Highs will climb into the mid 80s in the valleys, lower 80s in the higher elevations. And then tonight with clear skies and fairly light winds, it'll be another nice night as we drop down into the upper 50s to right around 60. Tomorrow, slightly warmer, mid 80s for highs for most of us. And again, a smidge more humidity starting to return across the area. The big theme over the next few days, the warming trend from the weekend heading into next week as the 90s look to make an appearance again. Of course, as we get closer towards fall, yeah, it looks like we may be talking about some warmer temperatures along with more humidity sneaking back in. So I hope you enjoyed the nice taste of fall because that may be changing fairly soon. As far as rainfall over the next several days, looking dry, but notice Tuesday into Wednesday, we could start to add in a chance of an isolated shower or storm or two, but the chances only at about 10%. But I do want to throw that in there just in case, right? Here's your Storm Alert 7-day forecast. Very nice, 84 for today, mid 80s Friday and Saturday, but that warming trend next week, along with that very slight chance of a shower. Latrice?
Thank you, Cedric. In consumer news, Social Security checks could see the biggest bump in 4 decades. Recipients could get an almost 9% increase thanks to inflation as the cost of living adjustment. An estimate from the Senior Citizen League Advocacy Group says the 2023 checks would help make up for funds this year that haven't kept up with inflation. It would mean the typical check received would land up about $1,800. UPS announced that it will hire more than 100,000 seasonal employees ahead of the holiday rush. The company is filling full and part-time seasonal positions, primarily seasonal delivery and CDL drivers, package handlers, and driver helpers. Permanent positions also are available in some areas for those who apply early. Applicants should apply at upsjobs.com. The Better Business Bureau is seeing an increase of investment scams using Cash App and also other digital payment apps. What happens is someone, they post what they invested their money and turned a profit. The scammer then claims they can do the same with, of course, your money. Michelle Mason with the BBB says there is a fine line between Cash App promotions and these scammers.
People are going to have to look for phone numbers and usernames on these accounts, do a lot of research, look up that name and see if there's been reports about that, of things turning into scams. Check out what you can with Better Business Bureau, but just know that if someone's guaranteeing returning your money, that's a huge red flag.
She also recommends doing your homework before sending money, and that if it seems too good to be true, well, you've heard this, it most likely is. Ahead on Local 3 News, families can get into the autumn spirit starting this weekend at Flat Top Mountain Farm in Soddy Daisy. 3 to Get Ready is next. And 3 to Get Ready, families can get into the autumn spirit starting this weekend at Flat Top Mountain Farm in Soddy Daisy. Opening day for the pumpkin patch and corn maze is tomorrow. You can take a hayride through the sunflower fields or get lost in the 2 corn mazes while checking out the pumpkin patch. They'll be open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through October 30th, so every weekend through October 30th. The 20th annual Fall Plant Sale and Festival will return to Crabtree Farms of Chattanooga Saturday. You can shop the selection of fruit trees and shrubs. Local artists and vendors will also be on hand, and there will be kids activities, live music, and food trucks. This family-friendly event will be from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Saturday on East 30th Street in Chattanooga, and it's free to attend. All proceeds from plant sales help fund educational programs and community services. Well, local taco lovers can get their fix in a big way this weekend at the Chattanooga Taco Festival. There will be more than 150 vendors offering all kinds of Hispanic food and local shopping options. And kids can enjoy a petting zoo, pony rides, and inflatables. It's happening Saturday and Sunday at Camp Jordan. They'll be open from 10 until 5 on Saturday, and the festival ends at 4 on Sunday.
Well, of course, if you're going to any of those events or any other sporting events around the area this weekend, we've got your full forecast. Plus, we'll take a look at your forecast heading into next week as well. I'll give you a hint. It does involve a warming trend. Details coming up next, right here on Local 3 News at noon. Well, happy Thursday, everyone. We're dealing with lots of dry air that continues to filter into the area, so that's giving us some beautiful weather conditions. Let me show you what it looks like outside currently over downtown. Lots of blue sky, just a couple of fair weather clouds trying to get going, but overall, plenty of sunshine. We have temperatures in the low to mid 70s in the area. We have dew points in the upper 50s to lower 60s, so again, it is very comfortable all across the region. Now, winds are out of the north at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, so you see the 70s. They're going to eventually turn into the low 80s, but it's not going to be too bad for us. As we look at the satellite picture, notice hardly any clouds out there and definitely no rainfall as high pressure continues to really dominate our weather pattern here, but it is beginning to shift to the east, and as it does so, it will start to bring in a southerly wind, which means warmer temperatures. So today, we'll go with low to mid 80s with lots of sunshine across the area. Tonight, clear and mainly cool conditions once again. We'll drop back into the 50s to low 60s out there across the region. And then tomorrow we're back in the mid 80s across many areas with a slight warming trend and a smidge more humidity out there. If you're planning the weekend, hey, we've got our tailgate forecast for you. Maybe heading to UTC homecoming. The temperature looking pretty good. We'll be in the mid 80s, dropping into the lower 80s through the afternoon and evening hours. But overall, some great tailgating going on and some great weather conditions are expected. Your Storm Alert 7-day forecast, very nice. 84 for your Thursday, mid 80s for your Friday into Saturday, and then notice as we get towards next week, we're really going to start to warm it up near 90 by the middle of next week, Latrice.
Thank you, Cedric, and thank you for joining us for Local 3 News at noon. We hope that you have a great rest of your day. NBC News Daily is up next.